Hey, it's Chris. Today I want to share with you a really simple, delicious, family-friendly one-pan recipe. I'm going to share with you my butternut squash, kale, chickpea, coconut curry. That is a mouthful, but this is a really simple recipe using almost all pantry ingredients, or at least ingredients that you could keep in your pantry and your freezer, and it's one of our family's go-to recipes. It's packed with plant-based proteins, with healthy fats, and a ton of vegetables, and best of all, it comes together in about 20 minutes. All you'll need for this recipe are a couple cans of chickpeas, an onion, some garlic, some curry powder, and a couple other spices that you can use if you want to, like coriander and cumin. You'll also need a little bit of vegetable or chicken broth. You can also use some coconut milk. I love using canned coconut milk. You'll need some butternut squash, and you'll need some kale. That's it. Let's go ahead and get cooking. I'm starting by doing my mise en place. Mise en place means everything in its place. So I'm slicing, dicing, and getting everything ready to go in the pan, starting with slicing and dicing up my onions. Then I'm going to move on to my garlic. This was a really big piece of garlic. All right, got it. Once my garlic is all pressed, I'm going to go ahead and strip my kale and chop it up into bite-sized pieces. I love to just roll it all up together, do some really rough chops in one direction, and then once it's kind of roughly chopped up, then I go in and I cut it down just a little bit more so the pieces are bite-sized. Once I have all my ingredients, I'm heading over to the stove. I'm starting with a big spoonful of coconut oil and just letting that melt into the bottom, swirling it around the pan. I'm adding my onions to the pan. Make sure to always coat all of your vegetables with the oil because the oil is what is cooking the vegetables. I'm adding in that garlic, mixing it around again. And then I'm adding in my spices to toast. This is turmeric, cumin, coriander, and a bit of cardamom. It only needs about 10 seconds to toast, and then I'm adding in 2 cans of drained and rinsed chickpeas and mixing that all together to fully coat the chickpeas with the spices. Adding in some salt. All of the full measurements will be at the link in the description box down below. Now I'm adding my butternut squash. This is a couple cups of chopped butternut squash. I'm using frozen, but you can use fresh or frozen. Mixing it all together, need to make sure that everything's all coated. And then I'm adding 1 can of full-fat coconut milk. It's cold here, so it looks a little chunky, but don't worry, it's going to melt all in and be creamy and delicious. As it cooks down, you might need some extra broth added to it too, but I like to just start with the coconut milk. Once that's all simmered for a few minutes and the butternut squash is nice and soft, I'm adding in that kale. Kale wilts down quite a bit, so I like to add a ton and just mix it up really well until the kale is all nice and softened. And then, like I said, you can add a little bit more broth if you need to reach the desired consistency. And there you have it, another delicious one-pot, family-friendly recipe. So good. It's so packed with flavor, it's so packed with nutrients, and it comes together so quickly. If you liked this recipe, hit the like below. Don't forget to subscribe for more delicious, easy, one-pot and family-friendly dinners and tips for balanced living. Have a beautifully balanced week, and I'll see you next week.